Welcome to Music You're Missing, Zach Collester. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm stoked that you're here because I've known you just kind of as a guy, just like as a dude. And I was fully surprised after about maybe a little over a year of knowing you that you're like a musician. I never knew you as a musician. And I immediately was like, this dude is so talented. So before we even get into it, I'm just so curious, like, when did you start playing and writing?
Yeah, it was kind of late in life. I got a guitar. It was like a holiday gift, sophomore year of college. Didn't really do anything music related before that. Joined an a cappella group when I got to college, and then that was sort of the catalyst that got me into music. Meeting sort of like musically inclined people at school, and then picked up the guitar. And then it wasn't until like a year and a half ago that I think I started to play it a little bit more seriously and started to kind of experiment with writing, things like that.
Wait, so you had no musical experience and you decided to join an a cappella group?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, I never did any like formal singing or anything like that. Or I played piano when I was like 8 for a couple years, but aside from that, not really. Just kind of like sang in the shower, and then got to college and I was like, let's audition for an a cappella group. And yeah.
Were you good? Like, were you confident in yourself at the point?
No, I was very not confident, but I really wanted to join one. I don't know. There was a group from Tufts that came and visited my high school when I was a freshman in high school, and I saw them perform, and I was like, this is sick. These are the coolest. These are the coolest guys ever. And no, so when I got to college, I was like, okay, I'll audition for an a cappella group. And I was like very okay, but one of the groups let me in, and then I just kind of met a bunch of music people.
Hell yeah. Okay, so then after that, like, you graduate college and you work. What do you do for your day job?
Well, so I graduated college, and then I went right to do a master's. So I actually moved overseas for a couple of years. Lived in Barcelona to do my master's, which was really fun. Didn't really do a ton of music stuff there, but I studied undergrad. I studied neuroscience. Grad school, I studied bioinformatics. I work as a scientist at a biotech startup in Boston. But yeah, I didn't really do much like music right after college.
That is fascinating. Yeah. Scientist by day, low-key artist by night.
Something like that.
Okay, so that being said, like, when I met you, I knew you did like the a cappella thing, but I didn't know that like you were ever at a point where you're just like gonna post your stuff online. So what happened where all of a sudden you felt confident in sharing your kind of craft with the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think I started posting just like little guitar things or like clips of covers on Instagram to my, 300 loyal followers when I was in grad school, and then like right when I first moved to Boston, but I never really looked at it as anything serious or kind of anything more than that. I think what really changed was I had a couple injuries from sports and ended up having to get a pretty big surgery last year, and like couldn't really walk or like move for a while. So I started just like leaning way more into music. And then I think when that started, I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, why don't I post a little bit and sort of see what happens and maybe try to build this as a bigger outlet now that I can't do sports as much. So yeah, I think that was kind of the change for me.
Oh, okay. Blessing and a curse.
A little bit.
So were you like fine tuning your craft during it, or did you just have more time to dedicate to it?
I just had more time. Yeah. I mean, I think it was just like I moved home for a couple months to recover at the beginning and brought my guitars, and I really just like didn't have anything else to do. I was working remote during the day, and then I was kind of just at home. So I started playing way more guitar, and then started messing around, coming up with riffs, trying to write a little bit of stuff, but it kind of just happened naturally just because I had so much free time on my hands.
Yeah. Dude, being mid-20s, living at home in the era of Noah Kahan and Zach Bryan, I feel like this is your calling.
My whole family lives together at home. So my mom, dad, brother, sister-in-law, and 5-year-old nephew all in the same house.
That is unreal.
So it was a whole
I've had that experience myself. My family, like, we all move out, we all come back in. We all move out, we all come back in. And we've been that way literally forever. So I've lived with all of my siblings many times throughout many years.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And then but then when I'm done with it, I'm like, oh, I miss it. And then when I'm in it, I'm like, oh,
I don't miss it. I love my family, but I don't miss it.
But what's funny about that little story is a clip that you shared that like had some traction online. It's from your song. I don't. Does it have a name? The one that's like Noah Loves Vermont.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it The Second I Could Drive.
Okay.
But
The Second I Could Drive. So you posted that clip online, and it like strangers were all about it, and it like went a little viral.
Yeah, it was cool. It was the first like original music that I had posted online, and I just posted a verse and then got a little bit of traction, and I was super excited. So then I sat down and wrote like a chorus and then posted the verse and chorus the next day, and it got a little bit more traction than the previous video. So yeah, it was definitely like cool to see that, and kind of inspiring a little bit. Made me want to work a little harder to write more music and put more stuff out. Because it was like, yeah, like I said, the first time I kind of put original stuff online.
Yeah. And did you know like that it was good, or like did the feedback kind of affirm that for you?
I think the feedback definitely affirmed, but I think at the same time I was sort of confident enough to post it because it was the first time that I came up with something that I thought was decent,
Yeah.
and also reflected like a real experience and kind of feeling that I had. And so I think because of that, I wanted to put it out there. So it was a little bit of both. It was a little bit of the external kind of feedback, but also like, yeah, I feel like this.
I mean, when
decent.
you have a bar, like home is a feeling, not a place. I mean, you have to know that that's something.
Got to put it.
That's like goosebumps. But so can you tell me more about like that track? Was it written during that time where you were at home?
No, so I wrote it. I think I wrote it the day that I posted it online. Really, I was just like, I think it was on the weekend. I was just messing around on my guitar and came up with the little like intro riff, and then I'd been playing a lot of like Tyler Childers, Noah Kahan, and just like learning their stuff. And I think I was just kind of playing that riff, and I actually put it like on my looper pedal at home, and I was just trying to come up with words or a melody or something. And I think I had just been thinking a lot about how a lot of people will write about where they're from and their connection to their towns, and there's just like something really powerful there. And I was just sort of going with the vibe that, you know, I don't really feel that sort of connection to my hometown, and that, you know, I love the people in my life and my family, but in terms of where I'm from, like I don't really feel that strong identity. Yeah.
I've heard that a lot from people. I grew up in a like your classic New England town, and to this day, if I go home, I will see someone from my high school, or I will see my friend's mom. Like, and it's so funny to me that the majority of people don't have that experience. And like my class is still super tight, and like I know all my friends that I went to high school with.
Yeah.
But that's actually not a common experience.
Yeah, and it's interesting too being in Boston, because I feel like Boston is a place where you see that a lot. Like you see a lot of people who have, you know, who are from outside of the city and then went to college and then come back to Boston and kind of all link up with their high school friends and have this like super tight knit group from high school. And I just like couldn't relate to that less. So it's really interesting. Especially because like one of my like closest friend groups in Boston is a group that I kind of like infiltrated from. They're all like high school buddies.
I was really interested to hear that this was the first song you ever fully wrote.
Yeah.
Was there a particular reason why you were like, this is the one I'm finishing?
I think it was, like I said, the first time that I felt like I actually wrote something that was decent. I had like written little verses and saved them in voice memos on my phone, but never posted anything. Yeah, I wanted to finish this one because I felt like it was pretty good, and the feedback that I got online was, you know, made me want to actually write it and put something out there. And yeah, so I think that's kind of the main reason.
That's dope. So you're not just like putting it out online, you're getting it produced right now, and you're working with Lazy, who's the coolest. Can you tell me about the experience of like actually recording and producing the track?
Yeah, it was so fun. I mean, the whole past couple months and kind of getting more into music has been a little bit surreal, because I never really thought I'd be kind of putting out music or doing any of this in a more formal way, but it was super fun. I mean, we went to the Record Co. in Boston, which is a super cool spot. Spent a couple hours kind of laying down some guitar and vocals, and then she's been producing it and mixing it, and it's been really fun,
dude. And it sounds like insane. I sent it to I remember I sent you Jacob, who's a photographer who I think you're working with, but I sent him the mix, and he was like blown away. He was like, this sounds like it's the first of all, it was like mix 1, and he was like, I thought this was like the final product. Like, it sounds so good.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I think a lot of that is Lazy, and she's been an awesome producer, and the mixes have sounded amazing. She also added harmonies to the last chorus, which are absolutely beautiful. So I think a lot of that I have her to thank. But,
Yeah, I saw her yesterday, and we were talking about it, and she used the word "pretty" to describe the song, and I was like, "That's accurate. It sounds very pretty."
Yeah, it is. I think it is pretty. Yeah.
You not like you were thrown into this, but it's also new. What have you learned, or what's been surprising about the independent artist experience?
I think it's kind of opened my eyes to a different part of Boston, of the city. Has been one thing. I mean, I've been doing some open mics and just like trying to perform as much as I can to get experience performing live. And I think it's opened my eyes to just like the amount of people who are kind of in this community and are doing similar things. And it's really sort of like cool and uplifting to see that community. Also realizing just like how much work goes into producing music and just like the business side almost. Not that this has become any sort of like business for me, but just like seeing the whole side of music with producing and mixing and distributing music and marketing and like all of this stuff and like just how much work goes into it has been eye-opening.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I mean, the Boston music community, I was like so naive before I was really fully immersed, and I used to think that there was not much here.
Yeah.
But there's actually just an insane amount of community. We saw literally yesterday at NYSA Fest.
Yeah.
That was the definition of a Boston music community. It was a festival just for Boston artists, and the people that showed up to support them were people in the community who like dig their stuff.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like booming, maybe not financially, but creatively. And I think that's where we do lack is like support from major companies or organizations to actually like highlight the community. But yeah, it's definitely strong, and there's absolutely a ton of work that goes into even getting one song out. Because it's been a process. I mean, you started like maybe like 2 months ago or something. Actually, like maybe a month ago.
I mean, I don't remember when I posted it online. Yeah, a couple months ago, and then we went and recorded everything a month and a half ago, and yeah, definitely takes some time. But it's been fun.
Do we know roughly when it's going to drop?
I think ideally like end of the summer, like late August would be ideal.
Man, that's so real. Like you're like sad because the summer's over and you listen to that and it's going to hit the windows down drive I'm about to have.
Yeah.
Insane. You're a scientist, as I've said many a times. But now you have this cool little side project. So I'm curious, what is the goal for your music career, if you want to call it that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think short term, the goal is, because I'm so new to writing, I think the goal is to just keep writing good stuff, like quality music, and just like learn about the process of songwriting and sort of what works for me and learn about what inspires me with songwriting. I would love to just keep performing live as much as I possibly can, whether it's open mics or doing kind of small gigs in the city, or I know you've helped me sort of book some smaller things in the city, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, I don't think there's some big goal in my head right now. I think right now it's just get as much experience as possible, keep learning about songwriting, and kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, that's a good mindset to have for sure. Yeah. That's where you'll flourish the most. You mentioned the shows. So you got the Playwright coming up, which is going to be sick. It's like come one, come all, it's free.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about Acoustic Night Out on Friday, August 23rd at the Cantab Underground in Cambridge.
Yeah.
It's definitely a show. Like it's an intimate show, and people listen. I mean, last time we threw it, it sold out. People were crying. Are you excited? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm so excited. Ready almost. Yeah, I've been writing some more original stuff that I can play for that show, which I'm really excited about. And super excited to share the stage with Rachael and Simon. I haven't met Simon, but Rachael, I saw her perform at Playwright, and she's incredible. So yeah, I think it'll be really fun. I think I've got a bunch of friends coming to the show, and they're all excited. But yeah, really excited.
So have you performed to, and not that it's like a bunch of people, but like have you performed to such an intimate crowd before?
Definitely not. No, I mean, I've really just been doing open mics in the area at like Bebop and Cantab Lounge. And there's a decent amount of people that show up, but I think open mics, it's not, I don't know if I would say it's an intimate listening experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really my only experience performing live so far.
Wow. Yeah. Man, I'm excited. Are you like, I just think about it because obviously I don't perform, but I'm like, I wonder if you are nervous. Like, are you nervous?
Yeah, I'm nervous. You kidding me? I'm really nervous. I'm excited that the playwright set is going to be before to kind of shake some of those nerves out, and that's a longer set. But yeah, of course I'm nervous, but more excited than nervous.
And once you're there, like, at least for me, when I do anything that requires like performing, once you're in it, you have like this fight or flight, and it's just fight. I
also think it'll be nice because at the open mics, they're usually super loud. And so sometimes when I play some of the songs that I write that are a little bit softer, and I have kind of a softer like singing voice, so it feels a little like incongruent with the vibe of the bar. And so I'm kind of excited to have a space where I can play some of those songs that I've written that are sort of like lower tone, softer, where you can actually like reach people and they can hear it.
Oh, we'll be. It's a snapping crowd. It's like a golf clap snap, like wipe the tears from your eyes crowd. Well, I'm stoked to have you there. I wrap up every interview with this question. We just talked about music. We talked about your life as a scientist. Beyond that, though, beyond the career, beyond the music, what's a goal you hope to accomplish in the near future?
Man, I mean, the biggest goal is, I think I mentioned this like surgery and injuries. The biggest goal is kind of getting my body right and healthy again. Aside from that, I feel like I was really good at Spanish when I lived abroad, and it's gotten way worse since I've been in Boston because I can't practice it. But I'd really like to get my level up with Spanish again.
Are we on Duolingo?
Yeah, we're on Duolingo. We speak drunken Spanish to our friends when we're out. So, claro.
Tambien? No. Does that mean me too?
Tambien. That means like good. Like
that's awkward. I thought I was going to say like me too, but
Tambien.
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 Oh, that's what that means?
Yeah. Did you say Tambien or Tam? Maybe you said
it. Absolutely mispronounced it either way. Okay, Tambien.
Tambien.
Me too. All right, Zach Collester, I appreciate your time. I'm stoked to see you at the Cantab in August.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Peace out.